What's up, everybody? How we all doing this evening? It is the Transformer Slag podcast Saturday night live stream main event. I am your host, Proto Man. I am the voice that you hear terribly the whole week when we're announcing the Transformer news, so I apologize for this mug. How we all doing? It's the first week of December. So begins the holiday season. The deals, we just passed Black Friday, we just passed Cyber Monday, and yet I'm still getting emails of all the deals that are coming through. It's also the weekend of Los Angeles, bite my tongue, Los Angeles Comic-Con. So shout out to all the people that are braving the crazy Comic-Con season in LA at the LA Convention Center. I heard it wasn't too great. But I don't blame them in the craziness of the world that's going on today. So, that being said, I'm going to cover the news again this week. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. There was a lot of stuff. I was not expecting such a busy week. Spent a good hour and a half just doing the slides and everything because I just wanted to find all the right images and stuff. It was busy. Of course, if you want to ask any questions, be sure to hit that super chat button and I will get to them. Glad to answer all your questions tonight. So let's jump into that. We also got some cool stuff in the mail, but stuff that I could share with a lot of people because a lot of people got that cool one in the mail. So let's jump into the news and then we'll just chillax with the super chats. First piece of news today. First thing to start with is from Hasbro with their patents. And it's that of their new anti-theft patent that they've recently put out that a lot of other toy companies are going to be adopting too. Now, if you go through the patent itself and you break down all the craziness. What's up, Larry? When you go through all the craziness and everything that's going on in this patent, essentially what Hasbro is trying to do this time around is kind of a double-pronged thing. They are trying to reduce the amount of materials used to pretty much hold down their toys because that is still an issue. That is one of the few places where they could also kind of remove material use. But at the same time, how do you do that without making the toy subjectable to theft? So they figured out a new kind of process using one piece of cardboard and a pretty much baked in piece of plastic that will be part of the figure. And upon removing the figure, you push that plastic in, it'll go flush with the back, and everything will be kosher. It also doubles as a way to prevent the swapping of toys, which has been quite the epidemic in the Transformer world. I remember first seeing it back in the Energon era in like 2003-ish. That's when I started really noticing it, where you would you go to Walmart and all of a sudden there's an Energon Scorponok box, but there's a Power Ranger toy in it. Example that I'm giving right here is a bootleg Power Ranger toy in a Cybertron Optimus Prime box back in 2006, or 2005-ish, 2006, which shows just how prevalent that stuff was. So the belief is that Hasbro, if they could somehow create it that the figures have to have that piece still sticking out, otherwise the toy cannot be returned. That's one way to go about it. I think they also want to do that because as we're going to be moving forward into more closed box kind of packaging, which specifically the leader class going into 2022 is going to have closed box packaging. It used to be just the Titan class was closed box and then the Commander class was closed box. Now we might have showing with like the Starscream that we saw from Studio Series 86. Looks like we're going to have closed box leader classes too. What does that mean? That means that you could buy it, you could open it up, you could put the wrong toy inside and return it to a hapless Walmart employee. If they could create some kind of way to prevent that kind of measure and people could buy their stuff without having to worry about having a bootleg dollar store toy put inside there or even some rocks, well, that's one way to do it. So that's just something I just want to point out. It's a new thing that's going to be a part of our collecting lives in the future. It looks like they're probably going to apply it first to the more lower end kind of stuff, those 5-point of articulation Marvel and Star Wars figures. But I'm pretty sure at some point we'll probably see it coming to our Transformer world. So I just wanted to bring that up. Second piece of kind of Transformer related news is related to Toys R Us returning to the United States. New Jersey specifically. In the American Dream Mega Mall, they have already almost actually done construction of their 2-story high 90 90,000 square foot Toys R Us flagship that will be in the New Jersey Mega Mall of American Dream. This is expected to actually be done in the next 10 days. So if you are in the New Jersey area and want to be there for the big flagship opening of this crazy brand new Toys R Us that potentially is going to be a testing market to kind of open it up to other things, maybe get that whole thing that's going on with Macy right now to have more Toys R Us's in the United States and kind of bring something back. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Again, this is just a flagship store. They're going to see how it works after the holiday season. Again, I understand that the American toy market and pretty much the retail market in general in the United States is very different than that of the rest of the world. And that's why something like Toys R Us exists in Canada and other places, because Canada doesn't have Target. Canada doesn't have Hot Topic. Canada doesn't have Walgreens. Doesn't have all those other things that are in mass that could be other platforms for toys to exist in. So, it survives. But we'll see what happens. Again, I just wanted to bring that up because I talked to a lot of my American fans and they miss Toys R Us desperately. And I don't blame them. Toys R Us is a memorable place. I was a Toys R Us kid, will always be a Toys R Us kid. So I kind of hope that this works out. They're trying to make this exactly what Toys R Us was if you went to the Toys R Us in downtown New York at Times Square. Anyone who's been to the Times Square Toys R Us when it was still open, you were very lucky. It was quite the experience. I only got to go once in my life. I've been to New York like 4 times, New York City, and I only went to that Toys R Us once, and that one time I went was like, wow, what an experience. So I'm really hoping that this kind of picks up and there's a lot of crazy stuff and people could have a fun old time, because they're kind of aiming to make this also a little bit of a tourist attraction. So let's see what happens with that, and I hope for the best for this. I hope Toys R Us finds a place and a foothold in the toy market in the United States again, because that leads to more opportunities for more product. Next up, let's talk about Nendoroid and Transformers. So Nendoroid already has 2 movie figures that are going to be coming out. They're going to have a movie Optimus Prime, and they're going to be having a movie Bumblebee that will be hitting shelves very soon. But now they're also showing that they're going to be doing Generation 1 stuff. Now, they also did technically, if you want to talk Shattered Glass, the Gridman stuff of Reika and Asuka, which are based off of Shattered Glass, Optimus Prime, and Megatron from the Gridman series. Those are out too. So technically, on a technicality, we already have 4 Nendoroid Transformer items. But now we have 2 more coming. This is the Nendoroid Optimus Prime, and later on we're going to get a Megatron. These are 5,500 yen, which are about under $50, just a little bit, 49 and some change. Looks really cool. Again, for people that aren't familiar with what those are, these Nendoroids, they're essentially, pop vinyls, if they had crazy articulation, swappable hands, accessories and stuff. And they just literally do every single brand. They do every brand. There's Magic the Gathering, there's Ghostbusters, there's every anime you could think of probably has one. Video game stuff. It's very popular. It's very, very popular. It's been going on for quite a number of years, and now they're finally getting to a lot of those Hasbro properties. And we already have the movie ones on their way, and now we have G1 Convoy, aka Optimus Prime, and G1 Megatron coming. We don't know what Megatron's going to come with, but judging by the Optimus, it's probably going to also come with an Energon mace and a bunch of interchangeable hands. Maybe a little laser beak to perch on his arm. Who knows? But we shall see what happens. Probably in the same kind of price range, too, in that under $50 mark. Fantastic otherwise. They look great. I know they might be a little pricey, but I think that the price goes a long way, considering some people pay $20 to $50 in the secondary market for some of their pop vinyls. I don't know. It's a lot better than a pop vinyl in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Next up, we have other Transformer license news. We got Super 7. I was super hyped about this. Anyone that saw on my Twitter when this news broke, We got 4 new reveals of it. We kind of knew the information about it, but we didn't get to see what they were going to be. And Wave 4 of Transformers Ultimates from Super 7 has now been revealed. We have the Alligatorcon, which is Optimus Prime from City of Steel when he was put together as a bunch of Decepticon shenanigans. We have Wreck-Gar, which has all kinds of show and toy-accurate accessories, even some Energon goodies, and Talk TV, which would explain my Twitter post leading into the stream today. We have 2 these are the ones I'm the most excited about. We have Tarn and we have G2 Megatron. So the Tarn, what's great about it is yet again another opportunity to have a official release of this character outside of what Flame Toys has been doing. So to get a nice articulated Tarn figure with interchangeable face and the mask and the interchangeable hands and his double ion cannon, that's fantastic. But not only do you get Tarn in his set, you also get the very first official Nickel figure with her booster pack, the very first IDW female Decepticon from the DJD. So that's pretty cool too. So for $55 to get those 2 as a pair, that's a must in my opinion. I mean, that's really good considering, like, you know, some of the Flame Toy stuff is ridiculously expensive. You want an awesome Tarn figure and you get Nickel for $55? Sign me up. And the last one we got here, G2 Megatron. And you can see what I did on the bottom right there, why I'm excited about it, because in Wave 2, you got Bludgeon, and Bludgeon came with a severed head and a little bit of hanging wires there. And it was pretty clear what they were going to be doing with the next wave. And the G2 Megatron comes with a whole bunch of toy-accurate stuff, a whole bunch of comic-accurate stuff from the Simon Furman, Andrew Wildman G2 book. Fantastic. You could kind of put them together, reenact the cover of G2. I'm really excited about that one. Like I said on my Twitter post, doesn't take a lot to make me excited or happy in life, but that's definitely one of them. I'm happy about it. Really cool. Super 7. These are going to be $55 each for each individual one. They also have a package deal. You could get all 4. And again, warning guys, when these pre-orders are done, they're done. And then you have to contend with the secondary market. So that's a whole other animal. Next up, we have some leaked stuff, and that's going to be kind of the topic of stuff coming up here. First up, we have a image that came from the Vietnamese factories today, and a half-transformed, looks like Beast Wars Buzzsaw from the War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Waspinator mold, using a brand new head sculpt. Looking at this mold and comparing it to the War for Cybertron Kingdom Waspinator, if this is a fake, it's someone that actually made the effort to make it look real, primarily because the gang molding on this is extremely accurate. The way they did the factory painting for the face is extremely accurate to how factories paint stuff. It's pretty impressive. But if it is real, I'm picturing this being either some kind of store exclusive or a Generation Selects or something. And again, for people who are confused, who is this? Well, on the right over there is Buzzsaw. It was a 1997 repaint of the Waspinator mold when Beast Wars made its debut in 95. And it was just them, like always, we got to do something with that mold. We got to create a new character. So that's pretty awesome. Brand new head sculpt to match the non-mutant head. Really excited about that. You know, again, any of those like non-show characters, if they could get modern interpretations, hey, like Shadow Panther and all the others, sign me up. That's some really cool stuff to get. Let's talk about one that was the really big news today. Let's talk about Studio Series 86 RC. So Hasbro did their designer roundtable, took some questions and took some answers. And there was some cool stuff that was mentioned. They talked about the design elements of little things here and there. But the big thing at the end of it was the reveal of 2 items. And one of those items was that of a Studio Series Bumblebee movie RC. And the Studio Series Bumblebee movie RC looks really damn good. They really made an effort to kind of put something together that really matches that of the animation model, but still able to transform. According to Evan and Mark, they said there's tons of articulation on this, but primarily because it's a thin figure. Motorcycles usually lead to having a lot of articulation and detail, and also to make it a skinnier kind of figure. So pretty awesome stuff. And I mean, they said there's articulation all over this thing. Even the boosters are articulated. They said that the wheels on the feet could also turn into feet wheels, kind of like homaging how she was in her Revenge of the Fallen kind of interpretation. She has tons of like parts and pieces, dual wielding guns. Which are going to make the exhausts on her vehicle. There's so much going on here, so much. And on top of all of that, they said that she's going to be one of the few figures that won't have hollow spots on it. I think someone at Hasbro really likes RC and is really making a conserved effort to do something here. But I think she looks great. Hopefully we'll get some more in-hand images of the toy itself instead of just the designers fiddling with it and showing us how articulated she is. But that's fantastic. I know a lot of people are excited about this, and it's cool to see these characters that really were only shown for a moment, and we only got to see the robot mode getting full fleshed out figures. So, I mean, if they continue doing something like that in the future where you get a background character for 5 seconds and he gets a toy or she gets a toy, well, sign me up. You know, maybe we'll get a Hot Rod or something. And speaking of Hot Rod, here's the second one they showed off to us. Now, of course, we talked about it earlier in the week because we had some blurry images from an eBay listing. But now we got the now fancy, high-res, straight from Hasbro images of the Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Core Class Final Wave. We assume it's got to be at this point. Final Wave Autobot Hot Rod. Again, this was supposed to be something for Wave 1 of Transformers Legacy, but they really need to fill the gap within the next 4 to 5 months until April's Transformer Legacy debut. So they pushed it up. They got Marcelo to do some beautiful package art there, and we got Autobot Hot Rod with his Energon-infused sword, as they refer to it. Also, Mark talked about how the spoiler in robot mode can be removed to kind of give that homage to the old Micromaster Hot Rod that came with Star Convoy back in the day during Battle Stars. So if you have like the Generation Star Convoy, this will be a really good companion piece that kind of works with that. I don't want to sound biased. I mean, you know, I'm a Hot Rod guy, so I think this looks really cool. I mean, some people have been pointing out how, like, yeah, the front end of the windshield and stuff is hanging on the back of his legs. But, I mean, it's a core class. It's a core class. The fact that they got this much paint and engineering in something of that tiny price point, that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm really excited about that. Really happy to see it. And hopefully we'll get some more information on it. And you know they're going to paint the heck out of this. I think having that spoiler be removable is also part of how they're going to be able to do other characters and do repaints, because, you know, Hot Rod, when he has that spoiler, that's really part of his silhouette and his character. Having it be removable, much like how we had that original Legends Hot Rod that came from Blackjack, I think that it's going to open it up to other retooling, and you could use that design for other characters that you could retool it into and not have to be tied to that Hot Rod design and everything like that. Next up, we have the second thing that they talked about, which was, hey, let's talk about stuff that, you know, the guys who stole the toys didn't talk about, which is that Slammer has a tower mode, and it actually works with the 2013 Titan class Metroplex. So that's pretty hype. Mark showed us the official tower mode. So if you have that old Metroplex, that's pretty hype. That's pretty awesome stuff that you got that Metroplex working. And if you have, you know, that tower mode, you now finally have technically a 100% complete Generation 1 update of Metroplex. Man, the comments in my videos were all people begging now for a reissue of that Metroplex. And who knows? Hasbro has the platform. Maybe they can make it a Hasbro Pulse kind of thing, just like how they did with Black Zarek. They could find a way to, you know, maybe do a short run of it and put it out there so people don't have to buy the scalped ones that are online. But that's super fantastic news. They also talked about how they came up with the robot mode and how the Takara team, along with the Hasbro team, kind of looked at fan art for inspiration. And they kind of fell on Joe Teen B's interpretation of Slammer in robot mode. And they kind of worked from there, did some little, you know, tweaks and twists. And we ended up with the Slammer that we have today. Pretty cool stuff. I like to hear those kind of stories. There's way more stuff they talk about in terms of design and everything. I talk about it more in my individual video. It's about a good, I think, 12 to 15 minutes, so I'm not going to waste your time here, guys, talking about it. But if you do want to get the full story after you're done watching the stream tonight, go check out that segment. Pretty cool stuff. Next up, we have our leak that happened just recently, and it's that of the Transformers Generation Selects, supposedly, Guard. Now, I'm just going to show the first image here. We had a whole bunch of Generation Select stuff that was teased to us. Some of it we knew and was confirmed, much like the Black Zarek and the lift ticket. But then we had a whole bunch of listings like Deluxe Clampdown, 24 per case. Deluxe DK3. We're assuming that it's going to be a blue repaint of Trailbreaker based on its Diachrome DK3 origins. The Voyager Cyclonus Armada. Maybe we're getting that extra guy in a different color scheme to do an army builder of Cyclonus. Maybe with a different sculpt. Who knows? Maybe they'll do the same thing like Scourge and kind of do some kind of new tooling or whatever. But now we have Deluxe Guard, I guess, in this guy. So it's a black and red repaint of Ironhide from the Earthrise Amazon exclusive. It is a deluxe class, so that also stays in true with what that Guard listing was, because it was a deluxe class. For people that are confused of the color origin, on the bottom right there was the original 1982 one-box Vinier of the Ironhide, if you want to call it. Later on in 2005, they did the Ironhide Protecto Black eHobby exclusive repaint, which was based on that Diaclone original. So on the top right there, we got a mock-up, more or less, of what it's going to look like, the final product. We obviously don't know what the box design will be. It'll be a unique box because that's what the new Generation Selects are going to be rocking, this brand new box kind of packaging and stuff. So pretty hype stuff. Really excited. That looks really cool. It really looks like, when you look at it, it's a very Diaclone kind of year. Outside of Cyclonus's Armada and Black Zarek, I mean, it's all Diaclone, Microman kind of stuff. So that's pretty funny that's what's going to be the flavor for 2022. But hey, considering how expensive going back and buying those old toys are, that's a nice cheaper alternative, and it's better engineering. Last thing we're going to talk about, because it's LA Comic-Con this weekend, Symbiote Studios is going to be there with their Comic-Con exclusive. They had a small assortment for San Diego Comic-Con, and they had a small assortment for LA Comic-Con. If you are in the LA region and you didn't go today, tomorrow it is still open. Booth 1011, celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Transformers movie with that big old boy right here. Let me just pull him up. With the big old Unicron. Use my head right now. This guy is huge. Nice little pillow for your couch or anything. So again, $39.99 if you are in the area. If you cannot make it to their lovely booth, this is their booth this weekend if you want to check it out. If you cannot make it this weekend, they will have it on their website afterwards. I'll post the link on my Twitter and everything, so you guys can get directly to it when we do have that link after the weekend is over, so you guys could pick it up. But they have a whole bunch of stuff. There's going to be a lot of other Hasbro brand stuff like Power Rangers, which I got those here too. Also got the Green Ranger. Didn't open them up yet, but got the Green Ranger there and everything, and the Red Ranger and stuff. And they're going to have My Little Pony. Go check them out. Cool stuff that they have there. Again, their booth is absolutely packed. You can't see. It's all under the table there, actually. There's tons of stuff. As well as their new t-shirts. I'm rocking the Grimlocks over there. Me, Grimlock, want to munch metal. So they also have their brand new t-shirts and stuff. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Again, check it out, symbiotestudios.com. Our plush, our pins, and our t-shirts of Transformers, officially from Hasbro and Symbiote Studios. Check it out. And get that giant Unicron. Get it on your couch. Get it to judge you while you watch Netflix all day. I know he's judging me. Yep. Why, Proto? Why did you sit down and watch 12 episodes of JoJo Bizarre Adventure when you could be doing something constructive? Why? Your bargaining posture is highly dubious, but very well. Very well. And that's it, more or less, guys. That's it for the news this week. We got a super chat, which I'm going to get into in a moment. We have a whole bunch of super chats we'll have to get into. But again, Symbiote Studios is our sponsor, as always, along with what's happening with Hasbro. Be sure to check out their YouTube channel for Transformers with the brand new Cyberverse series. Watch movie 1 and 2. Get that YouTube algorithm for them going and all that cool stuff. And again, Symbiote Studios. Also, still working with Aaron Archer on the Toy Armada. We're going to have a new episode out before the year is over, behind the scenes of a certain Transformer brand. So be sure to check that out. But we have 3 episodes out right now. Each one of them are pretty much almost 2 hours each. They're very visual based. They're very deep in the woods of toy design and everything like that. Again, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer on YouTube. Check that out. Me and Hasbro's Aaron Archer just riffing back and forth about the toy industry and how things are made. It's very good, especially if you want to learn something, if you want to get into the biz of the toy industry. But that's it, more or less. So, let's get into some super chats. Got through that a lot quicker than I thought. We got a lot of news to cover. We'll get into some super chats, and we'll get into some stuff that we got this week. And just relax for the rest of the evening. So Detective Ferret with the super chat. Why do Cybertronians turn gray when they die? Well, that was the first time we were ever shown something like that, was with the 86 movie. 86 movie was the first time that we were kind of shown that idea. Because even when the supposed deaths that happened in the 86 movie, like the shuttle scene or, Wheeljack and Windcharger, they're not gray, Optimus was the first one that really turned gray and died. And I mean, maybe the implication was the removal of the Matrix turned him gray. But then, of course, as time progressed and the other Japanese stuff was being done, it kind of solidified that. Like when characters like Blaster died, spoiler for the Headmaster series, or when Optimus Prime died the second time, or Ultra Magnus. There's certain characters that they try to play up like, okay, turning gray leads to death. But it's been inconsistent, like it really is something that's only been done a few times, and it hasn't been really done since, because every time we've depicted dead Transformer characters, they maintain their color. One of the most famous death of Transformer scenes was Dinobot from Beast Wars. He maintained his color. Spark came out of his body, everything. So it really is an inconsistent thing, and you're more likely to keep your color if you die than turn gray. Maybe Optimus was just a special case. It was just something they were playing with. Starscream turning gray when he died in the 86 movie. Some could argue because he was shot by Galvatron and he just turned to ash. Who knows? Who knows what the exact reasoning behind it was, but there definitely is probably a deeper reasoning behind it. So we'll get into some of the member questions in a moment. Let's just talk about what we got this week. So last week we got this guy. We got Jackpot. And this week we got Bam, the second piece of the golden disc. I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people got their little 2-pack of the boys. Anyone who saw on my Instagram and on my Twitter, I was super hyped about getting Road Ranger. I'm a big GoBots guy. Didn't have a lot of money growing up, so GoBots made up like 50% of my Transformer collection growing up. I think they were even bootleg GoBots. Like, I didn't even have official GoBots. I had like the bootleg ones. But getting Road Ranger, that's fantastic. You know what? I haven't messed yet with this mold in any shape or form. Like, I don't have Huffer pipes yet. But this gun came in 2 pieces, and we had to assemble it. Is it like that with Huffer too? Does he come with like 2 pieces and you have to put it together? Because we had to assemble the gun when it came out of the packaging. So that was fascinating. But really fantastic mold. I'm very happy with that. And then the pipes one, which is Puffer in this case, based off of the South American release and slight UK limited release. This one, I swear, when I mess with this one, I'm telling you, if we were still with Fun Publication and working with them, like, I'm telling you, like, what this would have been my idea. We would have taken these pieces, we would put them here on the shoulders, literally. You're probably guessing where I'm going with this. Brand new head sculpt, this chest capacity, do it something very similar to the front of a truck. I could do like an Optimus Prime Jr. kind of thing. I don't know what character I would do. Maybe not Optimus Prime blatantly, but something that's very Optimus Prime flavored. It's too there. It's too there on the nose to avoid it. It would be like a fun little free side figure of like the 15 exclusives that a BotCon would have had, or a fun publication collector club. It just feels like something that should have been done. And that's why messing with it, I was just like, ooh, you know. Sometimes you don't get those ideas for those figures until you handle them. So, but these are awesome. If you haven't picked them up yet, they should still be on Amazon for pre-order. I know some people are just starting to get them now and stuff. So really, 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 really cool. Really cool. And they shipped it in an HOC box. So you don't have to worry about stuff getting damaged. Hasbro is making the effort with their product number to make sure that stuff doesn't get damaged. Even though they just left it in the front door, unfortunately. But so I got that. I know a lot of people I was seeing getting it this week. It shipped super early. It was supposed to come in March, apparently. But I'm not arguing with early toys. Okay, so let's go into some member questions. Some YouTube member questions and some super chats. And we'll just relax for the rest of the evening with the world of Transformers. I'm sure we have a lot of things we have to discuss with all the stuff that we've learned. Stinkfist69, when is that last core class coming out? Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Is Hot Rod going to be something that's going to be shipped in a case all alone? Core classes are cases of 8. It's 8 figures. Usually it's 4 and 4. So like if it was Vertebrake and, you know, what do you call it? Rat Trap, you know, it's a case of 4-4, or if it's Optimus and Megatron, or Starscream and Soundwave, you know, like or Soundwave and Dracodon, you know, like they usually do it like that. So maybe it'll be, who knows? Like, I mean, personally, I think for the fans, if they could just do a filler figure, you know, do four Hot Rods and 4 Soundwaves, let's say, because Soundwave's a fantastic core class from what I've seen. You know, maybe that would be best. Because we're going to get Hot Rod again in Wave 1 and Legacy. There's going to be no shortage of Wave 1 stuff when that stuff hits, for sure. So to kind of give people an option to get an early Hot Rod with some unique package art, and then on the flip side, some of the older core class stuff that they may have missed, or alternatively, just my take, but it's not going to happen. Take that Rat Trap, turn into Pack Rat. But then to have a late wave unique figure, I think people would freak out and scalp it to death. So better to have something that's a filler. 4 Hot Rods, 4 Soundwaves, case of 8, put it in Walmart, and you're good to go, and that'll be the last one. Stinkfist69 also says they should give us a new Metroplex. Well, we're supposed to get a Cybertron Metroplex from the images that we saw online that were leaked. Nothing is confirmed if it's legitimate yet. I mean, we have listings that say it's Cybertron Metroplex. We have images that are slides that apparently confirm that it's Cybertron Metroplex, aka Galaxy Force Gigolo Convoy. But I mean, I do agree that, you know, when we have this Slammer coming out, it would be cool for people maybe if they just did a short run of 1,000 units. I mean, the margins would make it more expensive, but I mean, it's sure better than paying $300 on eBay for one. Look, Hasbro, when they originally released that Titan class, I believe it was $110, maybe $100 USD. And then it went, you know, it went into Costco and it was really cheap and they were able to do that. I mean, if they could charge $150 today, you know, or like, you know, $175, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that gladly would pay that instead of the scalped costs online on eBay and message boards. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys sitting on a whole bunch of Metroplex that are going like, shut up, Proto Man. Shut up. Let me sell my stuff. But, I mean, that's just my take. You know, that's just the way I see it. Princeton Phalanx 59 says, I have Slammer on his way from Big Bad Toy Store. Yeah, a lot of people have that final wave along with Pipes and Shadow Panther. They're all starting to show up now. Shadow Panther I really want. Man, Shadow Panther's like, that's one of those designs that's like, I like the weird stuff. That's one I'm really excited about. Michael Koo wants to know, I think that Hasbro is going to reevaluate HasLab due to the Sky Striker and Rancor. Yeah, man, like, I heard about the bad news with the Sky Striker, and I was talking about it on another show, and I was saying how, the thing that's going on with the Sky Striker, I think it's more just, people were complaining about how G.I. Joe was a store exclusive, like, all that classified stuff. And people need to understand is that Hasbro didn't have the confidence to put out that many numbers of G.I. Joe in every single store. So they were more comfortable just kind of keeping it a Walmart exclusive and later on Target exclusive for the Cobra Island stuff. But what also happens is sometimes that kind of, lack of confidence to keep it store exclusive means smaller numbers. Then you're talking a high-priced HasLab item, and the G.I. Joe fans didn't show up, which shows that keeping those numbers small exists for a reason because the numbers were small. So, it sucks that they're not happening, but I think it might be wallet fatigue. I think that the items are ending around the Christmas season. Some fans just don't have the money right now. It's the holidays. They're either going on vacation or they're shopping or they're buying stuff for other people or they're buying stuff for themselves. And they just don't have the money to drop on a HasLab item. I think that a HasLab thing should honestly be something that happens. And I know some people will disagree with me. Maybe once every 2 years. Do something once every 2 years and just try to keep it special. But, if it prints money, they're going to keep doing it. But stuff like this with the Sky Striker and the Rancor is probably going to make them take a step back and go, ooh, maybe not everything will be successful. Maybe we have to be more careful. So we'll see. We will see how they react to that. Money speaks more than anything else. Michael Koo also says, Big Bad Toy Store surprises once in a while by having found inventory available. Well, I don't think it's about found inventory. I think it's sometimes dead stock gets sent to them. TF Source is the same thing. Sometimes dead stock from a convention or something or an exclusive gets sent to them, and it's found inventory. Yeah, what is it called? Found warehouse inventory. New old stock, as they call it. Michael Koo goes on to say, I wouldn't be surprised if BBTS finds new inventory of Titan Class G1 Metroplex. Hey, man, then that just benefits everybody. As long as they keep the price honest and the shipping is honest for people, then that's great. I have both versions. I have no skin in the game. I have the San Diego Comic-Con with the chrome face, and I have the regular one. And everyone saw that funny photo of me hugging one in a TFCon hotel room many years ago. So I really want other people to enjoy that toy too. It's a decent toy. It was our first ever Titan class, so I would really like it if people were able to kind of go out of their way and enjoy it. But the prices right now are really stupid. Really, really stupid. Really stupid. So I wish people get the opportunity for sure. And it looks like you're getting a shirt from Symbiote Studios. Very good, Michael. Very, very good. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff indeed. I like this one. You know what's funny? The new batch of shirts, they kind of have like a good feel to them. I don't know why. I don't know clothing. I just wear whatever. Yeah. I just wear whatever. It looks good. Looks good though. Looks good. Let's see. What else do we got here? JR Mina, in case I'm not sure, I think I sent you a message on Facebook. Ooh, I don't have Facebook open. I'd have to open my phone at best. Hold on. I don't usually open any other stuff when I'm doing the stream. I'll look at it afterwards. I like to kind of focus on the stream in the meantime. Stinkfist69, just a off. Does anyone watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I love that show. Never watched it. Saw clips of it online. Danny DeVito looks funny in it. I remember there was I probably shouldn't repeat the line because it might get me demonetized, but there was a really funny clip in the show that I saw. Made me laugh. Michael Koo says here, G1 Transformers turn gray when they've been completely drained of energon. Well, that's how Optimus Prime died. He died of an energon bleed out, just from getting damaged right here in the pancreas in a lot of ways, or the kidney. So, that could be one theory of how that works. It's like an energon bleed out or something. Alice Trapped says here, 3 HasLabs at once, kind of dumb if you ask me. Well, again, I feel that, and I've said this before to other Hasbro people, you have a lot of crossover. You have a lot of people that they collect Transformer toys, but they also collect G.I. Joe, or they collect Transformer toys, but they also like Ghostbusters, or, they like one of your other brands. And especially, Hasbro wants to create this thing where you're not just a Transformer fan, you're a Hasbro fan. Hey, Hasbro fans, it's our Fan First Friday. Be hyped about this Power Ranger stuff. Be hyped about this Transformer stuff. They want it that you're a Hasbro fan. But if you're a Hasbro fan and then you're creating these high-ticket items, there's only so much that could be purchased. On top of the fact that these high-ticket items have a very limited window. We're not talking like, hey, we're going to be doing this crazy Titan class, and now you have like plenty of time to get ready to save up for it and buy it if you do want to get it. It's kind of like, hey, here's our, we're going to be revealing our HasLab, and then 10 days later it goes live, and then you got 45 days or something. Or in the case of Unicron, that was a special situation due to failure. But, we'll see. We will see. It's kind of crazy what's going on with HasLab, but I really hope that it kind of makes them realize that you got to kind of take it easy. You can't just expect fans to have this endless supply of income. Not to mention, look, we're still kind of in a world where, not everyone is back at their jobs. Not everyone's doing their jobs at full capacity. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on with the variants and everything. You got to, slow your pace. I understand you want to keep your stocks up or something, but you got to slow it down a little bit for the fans. Got to give them a chance to breathe. The worst thing you could have is wallet fatigue, because sometimes people, they have wallet fatigue and they take that break. They go, you know what? I can't afford anything right now. I'm going to take a break. And then they discover something else. And that something else doesn't cost a lot of money, and you might lose a fan forever. You got to kind of drip it. You got to give them something that's a little more reasonable in a lot of ways. That's how I see it. That was the mistake that I feel like Magic the Gathering and some other like card games did too, where, you got a new set every 3 months to now you get a new thing every week, and then people just back off. People don't mind giving you like $30 a month, but if all of a sudden instead of becoming $30 a month, it's $30 a week, you might just lose them completely. And then instead of getting that $30 a month, you just don't get anything at all. They just go, you know what, forget it. I'm going to do something else. You want to nurture your fandom. You want to nurture the brand, and you can't do that to fans. And that's not just Transformers, that's any brand. Transformers is one of many ones that have to be very careful of something like that. Stinkfist69, I agree. They did all the HasLab projects too close together, and the tiers were not that good to help them. Well, let's not talk about Star Saber with his tiers. I mean, I really think that everything should have been included from the get-go. Well, maybe not the Micromasters. Micromasters, yeah, that could have been an unlocked tier. The little Holly and Fire. But, everything else, the V-Lock cannon, the stands, that's all should have been like right from out of the gate. And it should have been like, tier 1 is 2 Micromasters, tier 2 is another 2 Micromasters, tier 3 is another extra little figure or something. Jan and Chromia, not Chromia, Lumia. Like those 2 little human characters or something. Like they could have done something cool like that, but they didn't, unfortunately. Alice Trapp says recently got Jackpot, Ranger, Puffer, love them. As do I, my friend. As do I. They're really good. I really dig them. Though this one, I'm telling you, these guys are going to age very well. I get a feeling like, in a couple of years, people are going to look back and go, man, if I didn't get these, they're going to regret it. These are really good ones. Really, really good ones. We got a super chat. Now we're getting into the super chats. Thank you for all the super chats from everybody. Help support the podcast. Again, don't forget the super chat. Don't just sit there and ask questions and just hope that they're going to get answered. I have to respect the fans that do the super chats and that are members, that are the true hardcore fans. Michael Koo with the super chat. What are your thoughts about the rumor of IDW lost all the Hasbro comic book licenses? Oh boy. Tried to avoid talking about this because I kind of have a little bit of skin in the game there. Long story short, I mean, there's recent news that came up too that you probably could put the dots together of what's going on. Don't want to get too much into that either, because John's a really cool dude. They didn't play by the rules. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, it got a little dicey. Got a little dicey. So we'll see what happens in the future. Let's put it this way. A lot of people have been guessing what's going on. Been reading the forums and stuff and everything. Obviously, a lot of negative stuff and everything too, which is like, meh. That part of the fandom needs to go sit in the corner with a dunce cap sometimes, the things they say. But there is another portion of them that they're kind of hitting exactly what's going on right now. Let's just say stay tuned. The year is going to be over, and there's going to be a new year, and all that information will bubble to the surface. That's all I could say. Alice Trap, the only HasLab I've bought so far was the Hero Quest, which didn't have a card to buy Unicron. I mean a credit card at the time, and was disappointed with how Victory Saber looked. Well, the Hero Quest one I heard was absolutely fantastic. I'm a big tabletop gaming kind of guy, and of course, I come from the Magic the Gathering world, so the sword and sorcery thing is yummy to me. I heard it was fantastic. Someone on my Discord, my Patreon Discord, posted a whole bunch of images of it. It looks really good. Kind of wish I got in on that, but we only have so much money in this world, and that's why. Too much stuff. Downright superb. What's the deal with Kingdom Tigatron? It goes up for $85 on Amazon. Is it just because it hasn't hit retail? When it's fully released, there will be not that many produced because it is a late wave stuff. Yes, and yes. The $85 one on Amazon is just someone scalping right now. Let me tell you guys, it's something where it's a late wave guy. It's a popular character. It's going to be the same thing like Generations RC back in Thrilling 30. Generations RC, Chromia, Windblade were all these very late wave kind of characters, but popular characters nonetheless, and it made people go crazy. And scalping happened like nuts. I mean, that's why so many people look at that Earthrise RC and go, okay, I'll just use this one instead because the other one's too expensive. And the Legends one is too expensive, the Japanese version. So, yes, get it any way you can, unfortunately. Because I get a feeling people are gonna do what people do, man. You know, I don't have the opportunities like others in the States to easily get that product. Usually that kind of stuff doesn't show up at all, to be honest, late wave stuff. But if you are in one of those cities that, you can hit a Walmart every so often to check, he's going to be hitting Walmart and he's going to be disappearing just as fast because of grubby people. So he's going to be a tough one. He is going to be a tough one for sure. There are certain figures that I'm looking at them and I'm going like, yeah, that's going to be one in like 2 to 3 years. That's going to be tough. That's going to be money. That's going to have like every listing on eBay is going to be asking stupid cash for it because they know how tough it's going to be. There's a lot of Titan Return stuff that was like that. Like, Perceptor was like really expensive. And then of course, the Studio Series 1 came out. And so, that's on the toilet now. But at one point that was very difficult. Princeton, again, they should spread the different HasLabs throughout the year, not all at once and close to the holidays. Yep. 200%. Look, it's one thing when it's like, exclusives and all the other products, but the HasLab things they're big investments. And what kills me with HasLab is when that HasLab thing ends, they take the money right away. Now I understand why they take the money right away, because they need that capital to put towards the manufacturing of the product. But I mean, you and me, we all do pre-ordering. We don't get charged until the item gets shipped out, where the HasLab thing, they take that $400, $800, whatever dollars right away, and then you're stuck with nothing for like 2 years. And I used to joke about it, but I was like, man, Like, if you, instead of getting Unicron, if you took that like $600 and put it in like core investment or a blue chip stock for like the year that we had to wait, you probably would have got money back that you could have put towards a Unicron to then buy scalped off of eBay. You know, like, it's kind of silly when you think about it. You probably would have got $1,000 afterwards with your 600 and then another 400, get $1,000, and you could put it there. I don't want to get into finance, but it's like man, it's kind of crazy when you think about how much money they take up front, and then you sit with nothing for like 6 to 8 to a year and a half. So I don't know. It's a little much. It's a little much. They really shouldn't put everything together like that. You know, they have to understand that there is crossover, and people look. I would have loved to own the Galactus. That one was the one that really appealed to me, but there was just so much other stuff that it was just like, woof, I don't know. Michael Koo with the super chat. July 2022 is Tron's 40th anniversary. Thoughts about ATF Disney mashup using a studio series Bumblebee RC as Tron? Yeah, as a laser cycle. I love the Tron movies. I'm like one of the few people that actually liked Tron Legacy. I like that movie. I was one of those few people that bought all the toys from Tron Legacy. On top of that, there's on my, if you go to like one of my first Instagram posts is all the Tron Legacy toys with their light up action. I love those toys. I thought they were very clever. They just were released too early and no one cared. That would be cool though. You know, have like, you know, something that transforms into Flynn or Tron. Probably Tron would be the better choice of the two. And then transforms into the laser cycle using that studio series Bumblebee RC. Yeah, I could see that, man. I could see that. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. And then, but the question is, how, when you, the Master Control Program, the MCP, too bad there's nothing that could really transform into that, like just a face, like a Zordon kind of face in a dome. I don't know. Nothing we have really that could do that, unfortunately. You know, like Mega Head Megatron from Robots in Disguise a couple of years ago, or just the head of good old Fort Max and company. But I do not know. That'd be, you know, it'd be cool to do a cool little 2-pack or something, much like we got with the Jurassic Park one. Let's see what some other member questions. Alice Trapped. I got Thrilling 30 RC for $13 on Big Bad Toy Store around this time of last year. Well then, lucky you. Yeah, the numbers for it afterwards, when the Earthrise version came out, it started to go down a little bit, but there was times where people were paying like, I remember, I think it was like $120 people were paying for the Legends one and about $100 for the Thrilling 30 one. But then of course, you know, something else comes around and then those numbers go down. Look, you know, the demand, you know, we were just talking about Titan Class Metroplex. If Hasbro all of a sudden puts out a reissue of it, all those guys that were asking $300, they're going to be like, ooh, okay, yeah, I'll take $175. You know, they'll almost 50% their money easily just because they want to get a piece of it. And let me tell you something, they didn't pay $175, you know. Princeton says, happy for everyone finding Tigatron. I'm still looking. Yeah, everyone's still looking, brother. I'm still looking too. Tigatron looks like he's going to be a cool one to get. That's faux show. That's faux show. Rodimus Power with the super chat with just a... Rodimus Power, ask a question, man. I'll take it for free. Just post it in the chat. I'll look for your name. I will look for your name. I mean, I appreciate the donations, but you know, even a comment is cool too. Just say something. We also got a super chat from TBX76. You can split the guns from Huffer's mold and attach it with the shield in the vehicle mode to create the truck bed. Oh, that's what it's for. Okay. Thank you. It makes sense now. Because like when I opened it up, like the cardboard, now I don't have nails. There we go. Yeah, it makes sense. You're right, my brother. You're right. Yeah, now I'm seeing the sculpted detail. Because I was like, it came in 2 pieces, and I was like, is it supposed to be like that? Did they just do that for the factory, and then I have to attach it together? Okay, that makes sense. All right, you're right. Yeah, and now I'm seeing it. Thank you, TBX. Because again, I didn't get the Huffer one. Didn't see that wave at all in my area. And then I didn't see Pipes either. Pipes is too new, so I never got to mess with the mold in any shape or form yet. This was my first taste of it, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm waiting. Are they going to do a toy accurate color version? There's so many repaints that could be done from this mold. This mold, because of all the South American color schemes and everything, there's so much could be done. Where's my Erector Shafter color scheme from this in hot yellow? Giggity. Can't wait for that. But thanks. I didn't realize that. It's true. How did I miss that? I don't look at instructions. I always build stuff like just based on images. I hate looking at instructions. I like to kind of like, that's part of the puzzle play of Transformers. I want to figure it out on its own. And now I know. And knowing is half the battle. Princeton says, I remember seeing the original Tron in theaters. I did not see the original Tron in theaters, but I was a big fan of it as a kid. I thought it was really cool. I've always was into computers as a kid. I remember when they did that cool, thick, I think it was 20th anniversary DVD set, which was like, it was a big box set. Bought those. Oh my God. That was like around the time that Tron Legacy was coming out. Also got the little die-cast figures. Man, I love Tron. It doesn't get enough love. And the TV series was pretty good too. That was on, was it called Disney Kids before it became Disney Plus? Something like that. Detective Ferret with the super chat. Thank you, Detective Ferret, for the $5 super chat question. How does every Optimus Prime come with an axe appearing in one episode? How does every Optimus Prime come with an axe appearing in one episode? And the same thing with Megatron with a mace. Just nostalgia and homaging, my friend. That's kind of just how it is, sometimes you have a certain kind of element that a character does, and it just becomes, look, now we have a Brawn figure with Studio Series that's going to come with a drill. Just because Brawn had a drill in that one episode of Transformers G1. There's certain things that characters do that then it just becomes iconic and associated with them. You could go across the board with that kind of stuff. Because that's, the thing with certain Transformer characters is some of them only got like one episode of screen time and they get that moment to shine. Obviously, Optimus was like literally on 98% of the season 1 and season 2 episodes. Obviously, season 3 he was absent for most of them because he was dead. But same thing with Megatron. It's when you're doing sci-fi brands like that, you need to have iconography. You need to have that kind of stuff that's just associated with those characters, and then you can continue doing that. Look, Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars trilogy wasn't there very long, Alec Guinness's version. But, every single toy comes with a lightsaber, because it's what's associated with him, even if it was short-lived. Same thing. Luke Skywalker had a lightsaber in Star Wars Episode 4 for just like one little quick, blast shield training scene. Every single Star Wars toy from 1979 onward had a Luke coming with a lightsaber, even if he didn't use it really aggressively yet at that point. So that kind of stuff, it's all about that kind of selling point. And having, the Optimus with the mace, the Megatron with the mace and the Optimus with the axe, it just became associated with that character. And every single version that comes afterwards in terms of like the first time, honestly, that we really saw it was the SCF PVC collection. And they did that. And those were little figures that were kind of aimed at collectors on a nostalgic basis. And that's what was associated with it. And then when they did the Mega PVC, same thing. It came with the axe. And then it's not like Armada had the axe. It's not like Energon had the axe. It's not like Cybertron had the axe. It's not like, what do you call it? Robot Masters had the... Did Robot Masters have the axe? Oh, yeah, it actually did have the axe. But that was G1 Optimus Prime. But then when you got into animated, Derek Wyatt doing more nostalgia kind of stuff, not, doing stuff that more homages the past, he had a giant axe. Not an Energon axe that comes out of it, but he had a giant axe. When you look at, Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime doing something a little different, it's more of a sword instead of an axe. So it's really just where you want to throw those homages and kind of celebrate the past. And it's just how it is. It works well. People identify with the past, and they want to have that kind of stuff. If you put an Optimus without an Energon axe, you're going to have guys that are going to be like, why doesn't he have an axe? Stinkfist says here, I love Tron Legacy too. I was really looking forward to a sequel, but Disney bought Star Wars and Marvel, and they just scrapped the plans. Yeah, if you look at the end of Tron Legacy, they are clearly cementing the seeds for Dillinger's son to be the villain, like working on the inside and everything. It's very clear that that's where they were going, and it's such a shame that it didn't go there. Alice Trapp, RC was that low on BBTS for a good year or so before Earthrise 1 was even revealed. Oh, well then. I'm surprised. I'm legitimately surprised, because I know for the longest time people were scalping the hell out of it. Downright superb. Is it possible that Hasbro is throwing money at Victory Saber's plastic quality? Maybe Unicron wasn't the highest quality to compensate for shipping and wash in the washing machine size box and assembly cost. I don't know. That's something where we're going to have to see how... all we've seen of updates thus far since that listing since that HasLab thing has ended, all we've seen was just one shot of the molds and stuff. That's it. So, I really hope it turns out good. I really do. I really, really do. Because if it ends up not turning out good, that's going to really sour for whatever the next item will be when that time comes. But I really do hope it turns out good, because it looks like it's going to have its problems. Let's see what else. Let's see. Michael Koo at BBTS. Thrilling 30 RC is a few dollars more expensive than Earthrise RC. Yeah, right now. Yeah, for sure. People have options now. There's tons of options. And yeah, Masterpiece RC. There's tons of options there. The Tron video game. Michael Koo. I never got to play the arcade game. I saw it in person as a kid, but I never got to play it. Was way too big and scary. I think I was 5 when that thing was in arcades. I remember it was called The Pack. That was the name of the arcade in my area. There's a retro arcade near me that has the Tron one. Isn't 1UP? I think they're doing something too. They're doing a crazy Tron one. They're doing a reproduction of that. Alice Trapp says, I know most people don't care about the difference between the difference, but Megatron never had a mace until the War for Cybertron video games. I'm G1, and he had a flail. Well, yeah, I'm not going to get into the semantics of that. The movie Megatron had some kind of disconnecting wrist that kind of counts as some kind of flail. Obviously, again, the PVCs, they homage the G1 stuff. Trying to think of what else would have had it. Even... Actually, I don't want to get too much into a future segment that's coming up, but some of the designs of certain characters also, their choices were based off of Generation 1 stuff, but more on the Japanese side of things. But yeah, I'll get into that another time. Here we go. Rodimus Power with the question here, related to his super chat question. Rodimus Power says, if you could free select which Transformer you would get revised into a new Legacy series besides Hot Rod, which is his favorite too, judging by your name, of course, I would select Scoop, because he was my first TF toy as a child. I always fall on if I could pick whatever I want to get a cool update, and I didn't have to think business about it. It would obviously be Road King from Master Force, or Nitro Convoy. Done as a male, Nitro Convoy, aka Override, from Galaxy Force. I'd like to get a updated Nitro Convoy, Galaxy Force kind of thing. That'd be really cool. I'm pretty sure we'll get something at some point. There's been a lot of rumors that they want to revisit that character. Because to me, Override, just do the G1 character, because there is an Override G1 character that was a trigger bot. So do my Nitro Convoy and do it justice. Give me a new one. Give me a new one. I blame Cartoon Network for that one. Changing the gender of one of my favorite Transformer characters. But the Cybertron dub is trash anyways. I don't know why anyone would watch the dub. It's really bad. A lot of mistakes in that. Michael Koo with the super chat. How would Hasbro able to reuse the original Beast Wars molds? Does Hasbro have a special to store their molds? So, according to what I've been told by Hasbro people and Kenner, Cincinnati for the longest time had a warehouse where they would store a lot of their stuff. That was for the Kenner stuff. Cincinnati was the Kenner office. Rhode Island was the Hasbro office. But we're talking Beast Wars, so that's Kenner initially. And when the Cincinnati office closed, when Kenner closed, everything moved to Rhode Island. They moved a lot of those molds with it to their storage facility in Rhode Island. Some stuff got lost. I'm not saying Beast Wars stuff got lost, but some stuff got lost. That's why we don't have, reissue Sunstreaker and the Dinobots, the G1 Dinobots, because molds are just, we don't know where they are. They could be, there's probably a box, there's a room, and the room says 1991, and you go into that room, and there's a box, and it says Inhumanoids, and you open that box, and there's Grimlock's arm, his mold for it. So that kind of lost we're talking about. Not like it's lost to the ages, just it's mixed up. So there hasn't been any reports of Beast Wars molds being lost, combined with the fact that, we had a reissue line not too long ago on the Western side of things with the 10th anniversary line. A lot of those key molds were available. And then on the Eastern side of things with Japan, they had their Telemocha line, which also used a lot of molds that were clearly available and some stuff that didn't even show up with these guys. So it showed, they still have the K9 mold, Howler, or whatever he was called in Japan, Wolfang, Fang Wolf, in Japan. But the point is that I think most of those molds are still available, and not to mention when you look at what was going on with the Universe line, Universe 1.0, and all of those molds, look, Big Convoy and all of them, I think everything is still around. I don't think we have to worry about any of that stuff being missing. And I think that, through that reissue line that we have, we know how the price points will be. We know that deluxe classes are going to be this price point. Ultra classes are going to be this price point. It's just if they ever get into megas, if they ever get into mega class stuff, we haven't had a price point of that yet. If they do reissue Inferno or Baboom, or if they do try Predicus, actually, that'll fall into the ultra class price point. But that's the way I kind of see it. I think that everything is available. It's just a matter of what they want to pick. We've seen lists online of what is potentially coming, like K9, like Pterosaur, Tarantulas, I believe, was on that list too. So we'll see. I do want to see more reissues because those are fantastic toys and very important to Transformers' history and understanding, where ball joints really, became a line-wide kind of concept, and storing weapons on a figure. That all started really with Beast Wars. Yeah, there's some late G2 stuff like the Cyberjets and everything, but really is a line-wide kind of idea. Started with Beast Wars. Downright Superb, what Kingdom figures will be re-released in Legacy? Kingdom has several Earthrise re-releases, not to mention Netflix. According to the list, let me pull that list up again. According to the list that I saw, where is that stupid list someone sent me? Essentially, what is going to be happening is we're going to have a few. Here it is. Let me just pull that up. You guys won't be able to see it, but I'll just pull it up quickly. From what it looks like, we're going to be getting repacks of the Core Class Optimus. We're going to be getting repacks of Soundwave from the Core Class. We're going to be getting repacks of, let me see, I'm just going through the list here. I think Starscream was going to be on there too, or something. Not Starscream. Who was also going to get a repack? Galvatron's going to get a repack, the Leader Class. And I think that's it for the time being. And of course, obviously, the stuff that we're getting in late Kingdom right now, that's ending up, that's going to be his first wave. So there's a few that they are going to repack, but nothing that's 100% right now. This is all just based on lists that I've been sent by different individuals. So nothing confirmed, but chances are there will be repacks. Chances are there will be some kind of repack. Let's see. Got so much here. So much. Nathan White. Goodbye, Nathan White. But yeah, like it's just there to me. There's going to be definitely some kind of repacks. I think maybe not as much because we're seeing kind of the reverse now. Now we're seeing it's like, hey, here's stuff from Legacy. Why don't we put that in Late Wave Kingdom because we need to buy time? Where before it was like, hey, we're gonna make Legacy show up early, and we need to fill it with stuff from Kingdom in order to bulk it out, which is what I think happened with Kingdom and Earthrise. I think Kingdom and Earthrise were actually bumped up early, mostly because of the Big V, and they just kind of stuffed it with other stuff. It's like, hey, let's put Rung in this wave also. Hey, let's put Starscream again. Hey, let's put, RC again. And all that takes is just making new package art and taking new photos. That's the most amazing thing that they have to do in the end is really they just got to call up Marcelo and go, hey, we need some new RC package art. And look, he gets paid, so it does cost the money to do that, and they have to hire a packaging designer and stuff. But we'll see. We will see. I would like to see more of that kind of surprises outside of what is just being showed to me, but I don't know. Stinkfist 69. I love the whole movie bike scene, the fighting gladiator scene. All of it was amazing. I must have missed a conversation there. That's what happens when we read the member conversations. But I mean, like, to me, like a lot of the stuff that I have been excited about the past couple of years have been more the oddball stuff. I think it primarily has to do with the fact that, I mean, when you have as much as I do and you've owned a lot of those key characters, it's the weird stuff that then appeals to you. It's stuff like this. I mean, I own the original Jackpot, the Action Master, but to own a transforming version that comes with, where's Sights? Sights is buried over here. With Sights, I dig that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I'd really like, I'd really like to see more of. I want to see more like obscure non-show Beast Wars characters get modern toys. And it's, some people would be like, but those won't sell as well because they're not as iconic, and those might be the peg warmers. You know what? You're probably right. But I kind of hope that maybe they won't sell well, but maybe they'll at least do half as good as the Fossilizers did. Now, the Fossilizers did well because there was a building element to it, so a lot of people were buying a lot of them based on that, the customization flavor. But at the same time, I would like it if, Beast Wars Jetstorm, K9 if he got an update, or Wolfang, Mana Terror, Retrax. Oh my God, imagine if Retrax got an updated toy. He'd finally get a decent toy. That'd be really cool. Obviously show characters will get their time in the sun. Those Transmetals, we're going to get those Transmetals. Those Fusors, we're going to get those classic Fusors. We're going to get Silverbolt and Quick Strike and all those dudes. But I'm talking about the weird ones, I'm talking about like Bantor. I'm talking about like Transmetal Rhinox. Will we ever get an update of him? Transmetal Pterosaur. Probably not, but I don't know. I do not know. Michael Koo with the super chat. When a comic book uses a Transformer trademark that Hasbro doesn't have, can Hasbro still get that trademark? So this goes back to the Bumblebee thing. You could have a comic book, and the comic book could say anything, but it doesn't matter. Because the only thing I don't have a comic book near me. No, those don't count. But, let me grab one of these because usually they show No, they don't. It's true. This is usually one example, but usually they don't show the covers. They show virgin covers. Yeah, that's the problem. They show the virgin covers. But usually how it works with a comic book is the only thing that's trademarked is the name. That's it. So going back to that whole Bumblebee thing that was happening back in the day with Teen Titans, or the Titans, and the Bumblebee movie and all that, you had a black female superhero named Bumblebee that predates Transformers Bumblebee by quite a few years. And they had no argument because it was Titans or Teen Titans, and in the book, none of those names were trademarked. Why do you think Robin would get his own singular series of a comic book series? Or why would they have a movie called Batman and Robin? Or they'd put a toy line called Robin or something like that? Because that's how you keep those trademarks alive and you own them. But if you have a character that's in a comic book and there's no merchandise related to it at all, you can't trademark. You could trademark it, but then you got to put out product. And if you don't put out product, you're going to get that trademark taken away from you and fined. And it's a risk a lot of companies don't want to take, unfortunately. So it's something that, the way I see it, I'm just trying to get back here. The way I see it is just, when you're talking trademarks, like, to give an example, like you said, comic books. So we have a character named Scorn in the Beast Wars comic book that's with IDW right now. Unless Hasbro puts out a product called Scorn and trademarks the name, they don't have the trademark. It's just a name in a comic book. You could have a character named Iron Fist in the comic book, but you don't have to worry about trademark issues outside of it as long as you call it Fistatron, because there's an Iron Fist, there's an Iron Fist Transformer character in the Wreckers comic books, and then you have the Marvel Iron Fist character. But if you do an Iron Fist figure in the toy line, now it's a trademark thing. Now you have to call it something else. Like it was called at BotCon, they called it Fistatron. Not a big fan of it, but that's just how it is, unfortunately. Orlando wants to know, will we ever get updated Beast Machines figures? Technically, we already did, through a technicality, really, which is T-Rex, the Dinobots from Beast Machines, was technically our first updated Beast Wars figure. But I think we'll get something. The one problem with Beast Machines is that it was unfortunately one of the lower periods for Transformers in terms of toy sales. Beast Machines did not do well. Did not do well for Transformers at all. It was the only time in Transformer history that sales were so low that certain price points actually regressed in price. It's like regular, like I forget what the number was. I have the numbers down here. It was like regular class was like, which was like the basic scale. Where are those prices? I always have them on hand. Here we go. So basic, aka what we would call a Scout today or something. So it was $5 in Beast Wars. It became $7 in Beast Machines, and then sales were so bad they regressed it back to $5. Case in point, you had Beast Machines Obsidian, which was $7, and then the same toy was repainted and released in cow colors, I guess we'll call it, in Robots in Disguise, and now it was $5. And that's the only time that's ever happened in Transformer history where prices regressed because of how bad sales were. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. Beast Machines was very special. I didn't have a problem with some of the... I think they had some toys that were kind of questionable in terms of scale. The QC on some of them wasn't that great. Some of the designs were kind of, But, it was still fun. The Viacons were cool. Unique designs, I guess is the best way to put it. Gave us Strika. Strika's a cool character. Stingfist 69, almost half of them I keep were sold out, so I didn't cancel them. Oh, I'm missing a conversation again. Always with the convos. But yeah, the way I see it, oh, you missed my earlier super chat. Oh, you posted another super chat. Let me see. Oh, sorry, so many things get pushed up. Sorry about that, brother. Princeton Phalanx 59 with the super chat. Do you think Hasbro will continue with these potential Diaclones and us milking our wallets? Well, I think that it's not 100% on purpose. It is more just, hey, we're going to do Ironhide because Ironhide's a popular character. Now, what do we repaint him into? The lucky thing is every single G1 character came from a Diaclone origin. Trust me, if Battle Convoy, aka what Optimus Prime came from, if he would have had a unique color scheme, like if, let's say, we're not talking, we're not talking City Commander, all that stuff, the Ultra Magnus one. We're talking Battle Convoy, what Diaclone Optimus Prime was. If he had like a unique color scheme, like if it was green, right, we would have saw that 12 times over. We would have saw that so many times. But that's not the case. But all these other guys, Sunstreaker has that spin out color scheme, the red. Then you go to Blue Streak, you have the blue streak color scheme. And then you go to, like, again, we're talking about Ironhide, the black color scheme. And then all the little variants within that too, because they would have a black one. They'd have this color scheme, that color scheme, yellow, this, that. So a lot of them have variants that were caked in. So you put out a G1 character that's iconic. Look at Skids. Skids, that Honda City Turbo has like 3 different repaints from just Diaclone. So right away there, you have all those repaints built in. So it just keeps going and going. Any of those characters, you put out their core toy, if you want to, that repaint is available. They didn't think like that back then. Like when we had early classics and stuff, like they didn't look at like, they didn't look at the Lamborghini guys, or they didn't look at the Datsun guys and go like, hey, let's do the Diaclone colors. Yes, some of them did get kind of this and that through fun publication, but they didn't really lean on that too much. They just were kind of focused on getting those core characters out and then maybe the odd repaint here and there. But now it's like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do it? It's too easy. It's something where, they've already tested it. Hey, we're going to do Tiger Tracks. See how that one does. E-Hobby. And it sells out. And then they go, ooh, I see. We're going to do Red Wing and put that out. It sells out. And they go, ooh. We're going to do obscure G2 unreleased color schemes like, G2 Sandstorm. And it sells out. So if they do G2 Guard from Ironhide or Clampdown or DK3 and it sells out, they're going to keep doing it. That's the secret to money. Keep doing it until it stops making money. That's the secret. And then when it stops making money, then they pivot. Then they go, okay, people don't like that anymore. We're going to do something else. Downright Superb, what other core class figures would you expect in the future? And from what other TF series will they pull from? Well, like I mentioned in the Hasbro Roundtable, they said that the future of core class is really revisiting characters that have larger price points and making something, number one, affordable for younger demographics who want to also engage in the play. And number two, just to challenge themselves to see like, hey, how could we take Six Shot and do a core class, which would be crazy when you think about it. But, do those higher tier expensive characters, but in something in a smaller price point, which is in a lot of ways what the Legend scale was when it first started. The Legend scale started with Aaron Archer and the Cybertron line back in the day. You can barely see them, but they're all there, the Legend scales. But when Aaron Archer started it, it was because they were like, before the only way a kid could engage with an Optimus Prime toy was that higher price point. So they're like, hey, how maybe we could have an Optimus that's this big, and the rest is history. And then, of course, after Cybertron in 2006, 2007, you had the movies, and the movies had everyone in every price point. So everyone could engage. We kind of got away from that when Transformers became more of a collector line, but they're still going like, hey, some kids want to buy a Hot Rod toy or an Optimus toy or a Soundwave toy, and they don't have $29.99, $39.99, leader class, deluxe class or Voyager price point. But you put it at a core class in a case of 8 and you put it out there on the Walmart shelves, now kids could engage in that product. And because it's a simpler transformation, it's a beginning. And you got to give them their first cigarette so they could get on the plastic crack. So, and not to mention, no one has really discussed this, but Rescue Bots isn't a thing anymore. So we don't have that gateway line that we did before. Yeah, they have some product planned. They're doing some Dinobot kind of stuff with the Rescue Bots flavor, but there is no Rescue Bots line anymore. So they're going back to the main line being what even the younger demo is going to engage with. So if you do the core class like that, just makes sense to me. And I think it's a good idea. I think it worked. Look, it worked for the 2007 movie. There was no Rescue Bots when that 2007 movie came out. But there was Legend Scale, Fast Action Battler, Voyager, Deluxe, Leader. Ultra was still a thing at the time. They made it that it was still accessible at all these different price points for different walks of life of financial background. And that is so important because not everyone has money. Not everyone could buy, an Amazon exclusive at $39.99. Not everyone could buy like a leader class at $69.99 or whatever your MSRP is in your region. So if you could have Scorponok for $39.99 as an ultra class, but you could also have him as a core class, let's say, that's great. That means 2 people win. You and the engineer collector like me will appreciate the little Scorponok because you could see how they managed to pull off the transformation in a small little figure. The hardcore fan will be able to get the full size one and get the more show accurate design and all the paint and everything. And the kid is still able to engage too with the small product. It's very important to foster that kind of stuff. When people complain about small core class figures and it's stupid, it's simple design, I don't know. Maybe it's not for you. That's the thing too. And hey, you saved money because you didn't have to buy it because you didn't like it. Michael Koo with the question, does Hasbro own the molds for the McDonald's Transformer promotions or were those molds destroyed? So all of the McDonald's stuff, everything McDonald's does, okay, it's changed since then. There actually was I think it was a Netflix documentary how they've changed that company since then. But there used to be a marketing company that McDonald's used to use for all of their toy promotions. And what that marketing company would do is that company would go to different whatever. They'd go to Disney and they go, hey, Disney, you're doing an Aladdin movie. Do you want to make, and I'm only saying it because I have an Aladdin toy on my desk right now. Do you want to make little Aladdin figures for McDonald's? We'll license it out. We'll all make money together. And so they do that. They pay the license to have the Aladdin movie. The license is now in McDonald's. McDonald's gets to sell, because, they pay Disney for the Aladdin license, but McDonald's is going to sell millions of toys in every Happy Meal, so they're going to do just fine with that Aladdin promotion. So they do that, and McDonald's, so that company licenses it, and that licensee owns those molds because they created those molds, they put together those molds, and they sell those molds. I actually, here on my desk here, it's funny you asked, I always keep little, I call them fidget figures. It's a little dusty. So here, Transmetal Dinobot, right? Transmetal Dinobot. This is obviously licensed Transformer product. We could call it official third party, second party, if you will. But it's something that was designed and engineered not by Hasbro, but by the marketing company of McDonald's, which is called HS or HMS, something like that. They were behind the whole history of Beast Wars' origins to begin with. They have a fantastic story with that. But those dudes, they have those molds, if they even still exist to this day. So Hasbro doesn't have those, unfortunately. Technically, they don't even have characters because the original characters that were made for those were Manta Ray, Panther, Beetle, and Rhino. So they weren't trademarked names. And then, no surprise, everything else they've done has been named characters that are trademarks by Hasbro. So It's not like they don't own the rights to Panther. If Hasbro wants to do a Cheetor repaint in that color scheme, they have all the right to do so, because McDonald's was only licensing temporarily for that one promotion. I hope that kind of explains it a little bit. It's a little complicated when it comes to McDonald's and toy licensing, because it's not just Transformers, it's Barbie, it's all the others. And then when you get into Burger King and Wendy's, they all do the same thing. Detective Ferret, how does the molding process work for figures? I wish I had nearby my molds I could show you. I have a great image on my Twitter. It shows in the Vietnam factory how Transformer toys are done. Do I have a simple figure I could show you? I wish I had a simple figure I could show you to really like break it down. Like if I had a Micromaster or something, or a Minicon. Anyways, I'll just use this for now. Essentially, a toy is designated in colors. So in the case of this guy, chances are it was probably 3 colors. You have black is one of the colors, actually 4, because you also have the translucent. You had orange, black, gray. This is silver paint. And the translucent, I guess we'd call it pink. They're done on separate sheets. Those sheets are pressed, so all the oranges are pressed on one sheet, all the blacks are pressed on one sheet. Oh, there goes the gun. All the grays pressed on one sheet. And then like a model kit, you take them off the sheet, and then they're assembled in the factory. And the negative with that is when you do the repaint, the same ideas have to be in the same area. So to give an example, right? Notice the orange of the legs. Oops. The orange of the legs is different than the orange of the chest, right? Because it was 2 different kinds of oranges on 2 different model sheets. It's the same thing here. Notice how the white is different on both of these. And it's the same thing. The orange that was used here is also used in the joints here. So I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a whole different explanation. But they're molds that are all separate colors. That's where the term gang molding comes from, when certain Transformer toys have like matching colors in the same areas on both. Like, oh, it's no surprise that this shared with this. That, you know, like the backpack is also the legs on both. It goes into the budgeting of it and everything. It's a deep, deep answer. It's the best I could do in a short period of time. Ronin X33. With the release of Slammer, do you think we will get a larger Scamper? I think so. Scamper is a trademark that they do have. But part of me feels, here's how I think. Maybe one day we'll get a brand new Metroplex and Scamper will be an included figure with it. Like, just like how we had that mainframe that was included as a deluxe class with the Arc. I could kind of see the same thing there. You know, that's the way I could kind of see it in a lot of ways. But I could see Scamper getting something. You know, he's a little black tank. Maybe, not black tank, black vehicle. You know, maybe we could get something from, I would prefer actually an original mold. I wouldn't want a repaint retool. It'd be cool. I mean, he was a good little figure. We didn't get much use out of him. Ultimately, in the end, he was the pre-Cybertron Scorponok with the subscription service and everything, so there wasn't much that could be done with that mold. But maybe we'll see something in the future. It would be cool. Robert Watts has joined the Minicons. What's up, Robert? Welcome to the Transformer Slag podcast membership. By choosing this path, you now could ask questions to all your heart's content. Or you'll have to super chat if you're not. But thank you for joining the Minicons. Orlando Chavez wants to know, any chance Metroplex will be re-released like Devastator? Look, I would like it if he was, just so you guys could get an opportunity at it. And I feel like, in all honesty, compared to like some of the other, like in terms of like the plastic, he's actually a lot cheaper made. And I don't mean that as a negative. I mean that in terms of like what you get. I think he's a lot cheaper made than some of the other Titans that we've gotten today. So I think he could totally be done. You know? I think he could totally be done today, and it wouldn't be too big of a departure from what we're used to. Because I mean, if you held like Omega Supreme from Siege, and like let's say like the Titan class Metroplex, the Siege one is way heavier, so there's a lot more plastic that's put in that one. Granted, it's a little shorter too, but look, they could take it, put the I don't know, put that chrome back on the face that was only a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, reissue it. Don't include those little minifigs that came with it. They came with like these little War for Cybertron minifigs. And that'll be it. That'll be it. That'll be it. And I think it'll do well. I think that like if they did a run of 1,000, because you mentioned in your question like the Devastator one. The Devastator was a short run. They did a short run of I think like 1,500 units, and that was it. And I think why they did that was I think they were just covering their butt for a trademark thing. They had the Studio Series one that was on the horizon, but I think there was like a cutoff point. Like they're like, ooh, we were hitting that 4-year mark. We got to do something. So I think that's one way to do it. But I think the only reason, I don't think that this is 100% the reason, but I think the reason we won't get Metroplex reissued though is I think because his design is slightly tied to the War for Cybertron video game with Activision, and that's always been my fear, is that's what's holding it back from getting reissued. And it's not like, oh, Hasbro can't use those molds. I think it's that Hasbro doesn't want to recognize that design because they want to move forward with whatever they're doing with the video game stuff. So I feel while the reissue would be awesome and you guys would finally get an opportunity to pick it up cheap, I also feel that Hasbro's more likely to make something new or retool it. Maybe they'll do a partial from it. Take that, retool it, give it a new chest that's more, G1 accurate. And then Mark could show us a new way that the slammer attaches to it or something. There's many different ways they could go about it, but there also is that business side of it that really gets in the way of a lot of things, unfortunately, which is just how it is. Robert Watts wants to know, do you think Legacy TM2 Megatron is going to be the same figure from Beast Wars? Well, it's going to be the same overall design. What Robert is referring to is because the Legacy line, according to the leaked list here, it says here that in the final wave, because Leader Class Wave 1 is Laser Optimus Prime, Wave 2 Leader Class is going to have Blitzwing and a repack of Galvatron, and Wave 3 is going to be a repack of the Laser Optimus Prime and a Dragon Megatron. Now, that Dragon Megatron potentially could be Transmetal 2 Megatron. It could be Transmetal 2 Megatron based off of the Beast Machines design, which has more of that, control center kind of thing going on with the headgear. But it'll be something based on that for sure. They're going to pull from that. A Dragon Megatron is that. There's nothing else that really says otherwise. I mean, you could go into the semantics, oh, Robots in Disguise Megatron. That's Gigatron from Car Robots. It was just a trademark thing. But when you're thinking Dragon Megatron, you're thinking Beast Wars and Beast Machines. So it's going to be that. It's going to be that. What they're going to do, like in terms of the fine details, because look, it's a leader class. Leader class is a bigger price point. They could put more stuff into it and gimmicks. And not to mention, let's not forget, this is important, Legacy's gimmick is Energon weapons and Energon accessories. So how is that going to play in? Every single figure, it's going to play in somehow. Look at that Legacy blaster. Like that Legacy blaster, yeah, hey, it's a Kingdom figure, but it's a Legacy figure. That tape cassette of Eject is an Energon accessory. That's why he's all Energon infused, as they call it. So that's kind of where that's pulling from. So consider that too. He might have some kind of maybe his control helmet from Beast Machines will be Energon infused or something. And that'll be a removable accessory, so you could have something that's accurate to Season 3 Dragon Megatron, but then you could put the Energon infused helmet on, and it has something that's, homages the Beast Machines design. I'm just saying. I'm shooting some ideas out there, but keep in mind that that is going to be an overarching element of the Legacy line, is those weapons, from what we've already seen thus far. Mike Rosen has joined the Minicon recruits. Welcome, Mike Rosen. Nice to have yet another person. And you come in the last 10 minutes, so ask away as quick as possible, my friend. Michael Koo says the Devastation soundtrack is under $10 with 11 tracks. Yeah, it's a fantastic soundtrack. Vince DiCola, very good music. Vince DiCola is the man. You know, like the Angry Birds Transformers soundtrack is amazing. I can't even stress that enough. Like, no one would think like, oh, Angry Bird Transformers, is that any good? Forget the game. The soundtrack is amazing. Is absolutely amazing. Super amazing. So definitely like check that out, you know? Check that stuff out, man. You know, and the Devastation one's really good too, but that Angry Birds one, man. I remember I got that soundtrack and I had it literally in my car listening to it because it was like the DLC to the old 86 movie soundtrack. Like, here's all this new music from the 86 movie you could listen to that you haven't heard in years. You know, such good stuff. Such good stuff. Again, Mike Rosen, welcome. Welcome, Mike Rosen. Mike Rosen has to say, great channel. I want to get a Diaclone Ironhide and make a custom A-Team crossover. I don't know if you're the first one to say that. A few people were saying that, really. Well, let me ask you this. When did the A-Team come out, and when is their anniversary? Because that could potentially happen, you know? And then it could come with a B.A. Baracus head. You could have like a Mr. T head or something. That'd be really cool, you know? But when is the anniversary? Because next year is going to be the anniversary of Knight Rider. And I'm telling you, man, I just have this feeling. We might get a Knight Rider crossover next year. I'm just saying. J.R. Mino with the super chat. Last few minutes, I guess I have to ask, what's for dinner or late night snack, Proto Man? I'm going to be having rice with some kind of cured beef that I microwave it, and it kind of like, you know, I need to get my protein in. It's like a cured beef with sesame oil inside it. It's really good. I like to eat just kind of as healthy as I can. And then a snack, I don't know, I have an advent calendar. I probably should have brought it down to show you guys. I have a Kit Kat advent calendar. It's a tradition that I've had in my family since I was a kid. We always had a chocolate advent calendar, whether it be a cheap brand chocolate, a dollar store brand, or like a fancy brand. I got a nice Kit Kat advent calendar, and I've been eating a Kit Kat from that every day. So I have a Kit Kat one, so that's going to be my snack later. But I'm going to have that. Tomorrow I'm going to probably have chicken. I always have a late lunch, but thank you, JR, for caring about my needs, my gastral needs to eat. You're always very supportive, my friend, and I'm glad to have you here. No, sorry, not JR. Michael Koo, Angry Bird Transformers soundtrack. Get the extended edition on Amazon. Oh, there's an extended edition? What? Oh my God, is there more tracks that I don't have? Oh no. It's so good. Here we go. Michael Koo, A-Team, first episode, January 23rd, 1983. Oh, so here we go. Next year, 2022, Knight Rider crossover. Then 2023, A-Team. Maybe it'll happen. That's not too far away. Yeah, and Knight Rider's 1982. That's what I'm saying for next year. Yeah, maybe we're on to something. Maybe we'll get a B.A. Baracus, Mohawk Transformer, robot Mr. T, and then he could go around at Comic-Con promoting it. I pity the Transformer. That'd be pretty cool. And you know what? Like, Ironhide already kind of has the Mohawk. Now that I think about it, that wouldn't be too hard. You know, you just resculpt the face a little bit, give him the gold chains. Maybe we're on to something here. Maybe we're on to something here. You know, they could tease it early before 2023. You know, make a tour of it. Yeah, there's something going on for sure. Robert Watts, Knight Rider. I remember sitting and asking him a question at Universal Studios. You got to meet David Hasselhoff. I am jealous. I was such a huge Knight Rider fan as a kid. In my garage, in my actual garage, is a pedal car of kit that I had since I was a kid. I lost it. My mom got me it again. And oh my God, I love Knight Rider. I love Knight Rider. It'd be so cool to get a transforming kit. And because of that Peter Cullen connection with Carr, how could you not? But you got to meet David Hasselhoff. That's awesome. Mr. Baywatch himself. I'll be there running in slow-mo. JR Mina with the super chat. Happy holidays, Proto. You said earlier December is the start of the holiday season. Fun fact. Here in the Phils, as he refers to it, the Philippines, September is the start of the holiday season. Jeez. You know what? I always complain. I complain because it's like, oh man, it's November and already the Christmas lights are up. But man, they have it in September. But to be fair, in the Philippines, you guys don't have snow though. So you don't have to worry about the snow signifies the holiday season. It could be any time. That's crazy. But why September though? I mean, you guys are very Christian, that country. So you guys obviously would have some, Thanksgiving obviously wouldn't be a factor because that's the United States. Silly me. I shouldn't have said that. But I don't know. That's still pretty crazy. When the beer month comes in, we Filipinos start preparing already. That's hilarious. That's really good. No, but that's really early though. That's really early. What happens? Do you start preparing for Valentine's Day in November? Got to get those presents early. Yeah. No, trust me. I know you don't have snow. Trust me. You're better off. You don't need snow. I have too much snow. I'd send it to you. Trust me. And then you would be like, no, take it back. I always tell people, snow looks pretty inside a heated house looking out the window as it comes down. Snow. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Go shovel snow when your car is buried in it and the frostbite and the cold. Trust me, you're better off. You're better off. Especially in the Philippines where you got motorcycles, you have more car freedom there. As a car guy, I would rather have Filipino weather any day of the week. Any day of the week. Trust me. Where are we at here? Michael Knight model kit on BBTS. Season 4 kit. Super Pursuit mode. Knight Industries semi-truck. Yeah. That's a classic episode. That one with the loader truck on episode 2. I remember that. God, I love Knight Rider. Such a 80s thing, but JR Mina, we love our holidays. Hey man, Christmas is the best. Christmas is the best. I'm not a big religious person, but love Christmas. Just something about it. It's the spirit of it to me because, look, I say it at the end of some of my podcasts. I always say just be good to each other. And I find Christmas is the one year where people have an excuse. They have to be good to each other. But, be good to each other. That's what I always say. And Christmas brings that out. It's always a good season. Xmas songs start playing in malls in early September. Why? That is crazy. That is crazy. There has to be something in between. Even on Filipino social media, holiday posts start appearing in September. But there has to be something in between. America with Hallmark, they created all these holidays to kind of fill the void. Stuff like Mother's Day and Father's Day and Family Day and Grandpa Day. All that exists because they wanted to sell Christmas cards. They want to sell, greeting cards, and they wanted to make money, and then they could sell plushes and stuff. Obviously, that's phased out a lot of it because of the internet, but now you look on Twitter and you look in the feed and it's today is, International Nudity Day. What was today? I saw something on Twitter today. Today's some holiday today also. There's always an international something day, The A.T. movie was really good, but again, they never made a sequel. I don't know. How did that movie do? I liked it too. It was pretty good, but I don't know how it did in the box office. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it after the fact. It looked good. I liked it. I wasn't a big fan of the original, but I just never saw it on TV. Like, me being a fan of Mr. T came from my love of the Rocky movies, and Clubber Lang, like that's my Mr. T. And, of course, watching wrestling. Princeton Phalanx 59 with the Super Chat. What do you think of the Transformers Collaborative Universal Monsters Dracula Massive? Draculus is so freaking cool. I understand the mold that it used isn't exactly the best mold, but the soft goods, the VHS thing and everything, I think it's awesome. And I want to see more of that. I'm not even a big Universal Monsters kind of guy. I just think Draculus was just such a cool idea, and I want to see more of that. Because that's, again, that more, it's outside, like, it's a vampire Transformer. That's what it is at the end of the day. With soft goods and a cloak and, cool poses and a cool, vintage VHS 80s style box. That's the kind of stuff that I love. I love that kind of stuff. Like, they're doing a Marvel Legends X-Men 97 80s style VHS box sets. Like, they're doing Jubilee and everything. I'm going to go broke because of that stuff. Just the packaging alone is making me like, oh my God. That speaks to me, that kind of stuff. And we are done tonight. Oh my God, we're already at 2 hours. I'll answer one more. So Mark Rosen here, a WWE crossover with Transformers would be cool too. Problem with that is that's Mattel, and Mattel would have to give up the master license of the WWE stuff to Hasbro in order to do that, which they probably won't. Because trust me, you don't think everyone would love to see like Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin crossover Transformer stuff? People would love to see that kind of stuff. But that's the, two companies having the master toy licenses, and that conflicts, unfortunately. Because I'm a huge wrestling guy. Look, Bret Hart is literally right on my desk, literally right on my desk. That's my boy right there, You got to be Canadian. You got to love Bret Hart. I would love that. Would love it, love it, love it. But that's it today, guys. Again, we're done. We went 2 hours. Pretty good stuff. We peaked at around 145 people. Really cool. So just want to do some closing statements. Thanks again, everyone who comes by, who supports the podcast, who does the super chats, who are members, who are part of the Patreon. Again, we have the Patreon below if you want to join the Patreon and get on the Discord, hang out with all that kind of stuff and everything. Anyone who's joined today, just contact me through Twitter and I'll get you your Patreon link, so I could send you on your way and you could come join us on the Patreon, Discord and everything. Excuse me, not the Patreon link, the Discord link. But we have the Patreon down there too if you want to join the podcast, help support us. Thanks for everything, guys. Again, check out Hasbro. Hasbro is, our sponsors along with Symbiote Studios. Check out the 2 new movies of Cyberverse. Be sure to check that out. And, of course, Symbiote Studios and all their plush pins and everything. Get the new shirts that are out. Me, Grimlock, Munch Metal. Thanks again, everyone. And Mike says Hitman is his favorite wrestler. You got good taste, my friend. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. And as always, like I say, be good to each other and roll out.